This face is a real charmer. This face right here is a real charmer.
Into the clinic.
Like, legitimately, it looks like a blonde Hitler. He actually looks like a blonde Hitler. This is the most mysterious case I've ever seen. I'm saying that without watching this YouTube video because I know it will be. Let's go. Bella for a reaction. You already know what time it is.
Hey guys, it's Bella. Welcome back
good,
to
Bella.
Another Mystery Monday. Happy Monday, guys. Happy best day of the week. Who doesn't love Mondays? I love Mondays.
What day even is it? It's Wednesday.
Yeah. And if you're new here, welcome. We talk about true crime cases on this channel on Mondays. So if that's something that you're interested in, then please come and join us and make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any future videos.
Yeah, follow the instructions as
today we're
well.
going back to 1992 and we're going to a town called Kipling, which is in Saskatchewan in Canada. And this is a really small farming town. And by
this is small. What the fuck? Bro, it cannot be hard to find the culprit, bro. It cannot be hard.
Small, I mean small. I think at the time that this case took place, there was about 1,200 people living there. There was actually...
It cannot be... 12... That's 1,200, bro. How can you not find the victor, the suspect?
More
instantly
farm animals than there was people. So it was kind of, you know, that sort of vibe where everybody knows everybody. It was a very tight-knit community. And I think that made a huge impact on the dynamic of this case because the way that the entire town acted about this case is insane. And I'm not going to say too much more. I think you guys will see why.
I mean, it's a small town. So it's like causes ripples everywhere, bro. It goes crazy.
We do get into it. I just quickly want to thank today's sponsor, Saley. If
I'll let her play a sponsor because she's Bella Fury.
Saley, then you probably haven't watched any of my videos before because I talk about them all the time. They are my go-to for an eSIM. They just make the process of getting an eSIM and using an eSIM so incredibly easy. I've been lucky enough to do a lot of travel while I'm here in London, and it's our last year here. So we've really been just trying to make the most of it and travel as much as we can. And so I have to use an eSIM a lot. I had my eSIM, but Kerry didn't use an eSIM because he thought that it was included in his phone plan. And then we got back and he got hit with a £200 bill. My Saley eSIM cost me $7. So I saved so much money just by being prepared, having my eSIM. It really is a lifesaver. It saves so much money. It saves so much time because all you have to do is you go into the app, you select the country, you select the plan you want, and that's it. It is that easy. It takes maybe 30 seconds max. Saley has data plans in over 200 countries and regions, and they're both iOS and Android compatible. And if you happen to get a data plan and you find out that for whatever reason your phone is not compatible with an eSIM, then they will give you a full refund. If you download the app and use code BellaFury at checkout, you can also get a 15% discount on your first purchase of a Saley eSIM data plan. I will leave all of the information for that in the description box down below, and let's go ahead and get into today's case. On Halloween evening of 1992, so the 31st of October, a 23-year-old single mother named Candace was working at a gas station. She had given birth to her daughter just 9 months earlier, so she was a new mum, she was a single mum, and she was going through this really exhausting period of time in her life, just really trying to provide for both of them. So while she's working, her boyfriend comes and visits her, and he just wanted to come and see her, keep her company, but while he was there, they end up getting into this massive fight because Candace allegedly have found out that he had been lying about seeing other women. So they got into this huge fight, of course, and I think they had a very tumultuous relationship. I think it was a new relationship. I don't think he was the father of her daughter. So they had it wasn't that uncommon for them to have these arguments. They have this massive fight and he ends up getting in his car, leaving the gas station, and as he speeds away, Candace kicks the side of his vehicle. So it was a bad fight. And it really just rattled her.
Where's it going though?
If you get in an argument with somebody close to you, you know, it just throws you off. Right? So she was so thrown off, she was so shaken by it that she ended up closing up at the gas station early and leaving work early. She made a quick stop at home so that she could get changed, and then she headed to Kipling Memorial.
Wait! Hi guys, make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy. I really appreciate trying to grow here. That's pretty much it. Enjoy the rest of the video.
Royal Union Hospital to visit her best friend who was working there because she just wanted to go and vent and kind of, I guess, seeing your best friend as a cheer me up, right? She needed a bit of support from her friend, but then the nurse tells her that her friend wasn't working that night. And this just kind of sent Candace over the edge. This was, I guess, the straw that broke the camel's back for her night, because she'd had this awful night. She was shaken from this fight. She drives all the way to the hospital only to find out her friend's not even there. So she becomes really visibly irritated. And it was to a point where one of the nurses that was working there that night asked her to stay and see a doctor, because I guess she was that upset. Candace asked the nurse who the doctor was, and the nurse told her that it was Dr. Schneeberger. And
okay, look, profiling is not good, whether that's racially or like gender-wise or anything. But come on, bro, his name's Dr. Schneeberger. It looks like a Walmart Hitler. Like, let's just be honest there. Come on. Schneeberger. Like, it literally sounds like it could be Hitler in an alternate timeline. Like, he did that shit, bro. He did that shit. Okay, throwback to the Belly Thrower video where there's a suspect and he looked exactly like me.
She starts begging for help. Based on her description, the police did a sketch of the man that...
Guys, I did not do this. I did not do this. This is not me. This is not me. No, no, no. No, 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 no. No way. No, no, no. No, 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 no.
And it wasn't even a suspect, it was some woman being racist and just making up a random suspect. I was wearing a hat at the time. I look like this. I literally look like a suspect, just like a bit, you know, more of a chiseled jawline because I'm a mogger and stuff. But yeah.
Dr. Schneeberger was actually Candace's regular doctor that she saw. So she was like, fine, I'll stay. I'll see him. Maybe he can, I guess, help me work through this or help me.
His YouTube is bad as fuck, I can't lie. Literally, everyone says this, and it is true. But I have respect for this person. She makes too good content and she's married, so I'm not going to simp over a married woman.
Calm down. He was also...
Can we put in like the top 5 respect moments montage?
So actually the doctor that helped her deliver her baby 9 months earlier. So she really liked him and there was a lot of trust there. And it really wasn't much of a coincidence that he was working that night, because Kipling only had one hospital. It was a small town. There was only 2 doctors. So it was going to be it was a 50-50 chance that he was going to be the doctor on call that night anyway. So Candace agreed.
Bro, living in a small town must be so fun though. You have such a community. But I feel like the only issue is, let's say you date a girl, then like, or any beef you have in a town, everyone's gonna know about. Like, that's literally the issue. Like, if a girl, like, rejects you, or, like, she's your ex or something, everyone's gonna... Like, bro, you're gonna probably see your ex every single day. Like, that's crazy. It's crazy.
To see him, and she goes into an examination room to wait for him. And while she's in there waiting, she is not calming down. She's kind of getting more and more agitated. Eventually, Dr. Schneeberger comes into the examination room to begin his assessment, and he asks Candace what's wrong, and she explains to him that her and her boyfriend had this massive fight and that she felt like she could kill him. She obviously didn't mean this literally.
This is looking like a little psychological one. It's interesting.
She was just exaggerating because she was so angered by this argument that they'd had. So Dr. Schneeberger is talking.
Stop with the earrings, by the way. Like, I've noticed that in this video. Like, these are like rubber ducky earrings. I don't know.
To her.
But what I always say about girls that I envy, bro, is like it's like they have character customization. Like, bro, like I feel like for us men, especially for someone like me, I don't have character customization. I change up the fit. I can change up the haircut like once a month, where I just get the same lineup, same fade, which makes me look clean. And that's literally it. Girls, like, they can do their hair in any way. They can put on some earrings. They can do all this stuff. And they have so much character customization. It's insane. They can do their makeup differently, which makes them look like a different person. Like, bro, I want some customization, man.
He's trying to calm her down, but she's...
It's like my customization. It's like I have Fortnite level of customization. I can put on a back bling. I can change my skin. But like girls, they have like fucking like arc. No, I need a good game of character customization. I don't know. Dark Souls level customization. There we go.
Really not calming down. And so he...
Dye your hair blue, bro. Yeah, I'm good off that.
Give her something to help her calm down, which she accepts. She was expecting him to give her some kind of calming tablet or something, but he leaves the room and he comes back and he actually has a needle and he actually inserted it into her arm and administered the drug that way. Candace started to feel the effects from this, takes her over to an examination table to lay her down, and he rolls her onto her side so that she's facing...
But this is interesting for a Belly Fury video. We're getting like a bit more like, because this is before the crimes even happened, so we're getting a bit of like contextual stuff, like really thick, like I don't even know how to describe it, but it's interesting.
The wall. It wasn't long before she lost...
Oh, I just realized the name of this is called The Twisted Case of Don Schneeberger. He is the bad guy. I didn't even remember that the title. Look at that, bro. I have that sense for that shit. He is actually the bad guy. Oh my god, it's beautiful. I just like saw the name, I saw his look, I was like, this guy has to be a bad guy. And he is.
The
Beautiful.
ability to speak. She lost the ability to
Wait, go.
to lay her down, and he rolls her onto her side so that she's facing the wall. It wasn't long before she lost the ability to speak.
Oh, okay. We should take the tone down a bit because this is actually getting bad now.
She lost the ability to move.
So he drugged her.
She tried to scream at one point because what a helpless feeling, and she just couldn't even make any noise. So her eyes were wide open, but she was essentially paralyzed. She remembers everything that happened after this, but her recollection is of course a little bit better.
Oh, he didn't kill her. He probably like essayed her.
Blurry because
Oh, well, I don't say, bro. He raped her. Okay, he raped her.
she was heavily sedated, but she felt a man unbutton her pants and pull them down.
Yeah.
He pulled her underwear to the side and then he raped her. Because she was frozen in place, she couldn't turn around to look at the man. She couldn't call out for help because she couldn't make any noise. She couldn't talk. She couldn't scream. She couldn't even.
Okay,
so
but
much as-
Sleesberger, like, obviously he's a sick individual and he's stupid as fuck anyway. But like, this is a small town. You are the only doctor here. You are going to get caught, bro. Like, why even bother committing crimes in a town like this? Like, if you're in London, some insanely dense town, you're in the US, which is massive, whatever state you're in is massive. Okay. But you're in the smallest town of all time we're trying to do these crimes if you're not going to get caught. Like, who are you, bro? You're not fucking prime light Yagami. Like,
After a few minutes, the attack ended, and the man responsible pulled her pants back up, buttoned them back up. He fixed her clothing. And after this, Candace managed to sluggishly roll over, and she saw Dr. Schneeberger leave the room. At that point, she was still too dizzy to go home, and so the nurses that were working that night insisted that she stay at the hospital overnight and go home in the morning. So when she wakes up...
So are the nurses like in on it? Are they accomplices, or like do they just... I feel like they might know what's going on, but just don't do anything about it.
She's sitting alone in a hospital bed, and all of the memories from the night before, although blurry, they all start coming back to her. She was hit with this horrible wave of emotions, and although her memory after being drugged was blurry, she was confident of one thing, and that was that she had been raped. Dr. Schneeberger did come and check on her that morning, and she asked him about the drug that he had administered her the night before. And his response to this was to say, "Why? Did it give you some wild dreams?" She was certain that this man had assaulted her.
He tried planting little seeds for the manipulation, saying, "Oh, she could have been hallucinating." Interesting.
The night before, and from this response she just knew that he was going to do everything that he could to deny it and cover up what he had done. Before leaving the hospital, Candace also noticed a stain on her underwear that appeared to be semen, and so in an attempt
I was about to say he's probably gonna leave some mark, whether that's like she's harmed, like abrased inside, whether there's like semen stains somewhere, like yeah.
to preserve any evidence from what had happened to her the night before, she placed the underwear in a plastic bag that she found in one of the drawers in the room. Then when she left the hospital, she didn't tell any of the nurses what had happened because she didn't feel like she could trust anybody there. Candace did speak with her parents briefly, and they could just tell from the look on her face that something awful had happened, and they were extremely supportive of her, and they just wanted to do anything that they could to help her and support her through this. When she got home, she just fully broke down because she was going through all these emotions of, did I imagine this? But also, no, I didn't imagine this, because she could remember being drugged. She could remember the feeling of being attacked. She remembered Dr. Schneeberger seeing him exit the room after the attack. But of course, her memory was so blurry because she was heavily sedated. She obviously wanted to make certain of what she was remembering from the night before she went to report this to the police. She wanted to have a medical examination. She wanted to take those underwear in to have them tested, but she obviously couldn't go to the hospital in her town because that is the hospital where he worked. That is the hospital where it happened. She didn't trust any of the nurses that had been on duty at the time. So she actually drove with a friend to Regina, which is nearly a 2-hour drive from Kipling. They went to a hospital there in Regina, and at the hospital she spoke with 2 sexual assault counselors, and she had a rape kit done. The results from the test showed evidence of semen on her underwear, her pants, and in a vaginal swab. She also had a blood test done, which showed the presence of a drug called Versed, which is a brand name for the drug midazolam, which is a strong benzodiazepine, which is typically used for for anesthesia, but can also be used to treat severe agitation. Its symptoms include sleepiness, decreased anxiety, and anterograde amnesia, which is basically where your brain can't make new memories for a period of time. So the hospital workers contacted the Regina Royal Canadian Mounted Police, who then contacted Kipling, and they started investigating the matter. Their first point of call was to go...
Murder? Wait, did I miss something? I droned out for a second, I'm not gonna lie. Did I miss something? Murder?
Anxiety and anterograde agitation. She also had a blood test done, which showed the presence of a drug called Versed, which is a brand name for the drug midazolam, which is a strong benzodiazepine, which is typically used for anesthesia, but can also be used to treat severe agitation. Its symptoms include sleepiness, decreased anxiety, and anterograde amnesia, which is basically where your brain can't make new memories for a period of time. So the hospital workers contacted the Regina Royal Canadian Mounted Police, who then contacted Kipling, and they started investigating the matter. Their first point of call was to go...
She said matter. Oh my god, I was so confused. That's just her accent thing. Okay, cool.
To Kipling Memorial Union Hospital and question some people there. So they go there and they question some of the nurses that had been working at the time of the alleged rape. And these nurses said that they had been going in and out of the room that the rape allegedly happened in, and they didn't see or hear anything unusual going on. Basically, the takeaway from talking to the nurses that were on duty is that whoever had raped Candace had somehow managed to do it under the nose of these nurses that had been on duty that could have come into the room at any time. And they were pretty much the only people that had been in the hospital at the time. There was also another man who had been at the hospital, but his wife was giving birth. So he had been in the delivery room the entire time, and so obviously hadn't seen anything or heard anything, but there was nobody else at the hospital besides these nurses. Of course, the police reached out to Dr. Schneeberger as well, and he was adamant that nothing had happened the night before, and he explained that Candace had come in that night, she was extremely agitated, and he gave her a sedative to help her calm down. And he did mention that the drug that he gave her, the sedative that he gave her, there was a chance that it could have given her hallucinations. The police did still request that he provide them with a DNA sample, which he agreed, and he provided them with a blood sample, provided a technician with a blood sample, which was sent off for testing. Now, word quickly spread about Candace accusing Dr. Schneeberger of rape.
Oh, and then people would be like, oh, she's lying, Dr. Schneeberger could never. Dr. Schneeberger is so nice. Dr. Schneeberger, Dr. Schneeberger, Dr. Schneeberger, Dr. Schneeberger. Sounds like I'm ripping it, by the way, but anyway.
It's a small town. Everybody was talking about it very, very quickly. And Dr. Schneeberger had a fantastic reputation around town. He was a really well-respected guy in the community, being one of the only 2 doctors in Kipling. People really trusted him, and he was responsible for looking after them, and he was good at his job as well. Candace, she didn't have a bad reputation. She was known as a bit of a party girl, but around town, he was obviously much more well-known, and he was well-known in a good way. And so the rumors that started around town were basically that Candace
is lying, she had sex, trying to get money, she's a cheating whore.
Interested in him, or she was trying to get money out of him, that she was trying to destroy his marriage because he was married and had children. There were just all of these wild accusations, and
Loki shows how tight shift, by the way, because this is 1992. Nowadays, as soon as this happens, everyone will turn on Dr. Schneeberger instantly. Like, wouldn't have been a thing of like, oh, maybe she's lying. No, everyone would have turned on Dr. Schneeberger instantly, which would have been a good thing, obviously, in this context, but it's just interesting to see how a tide shifts. Because there's another case as well, which we're looking at. There's more of a recent one that came out, like, time-wise, like, it came out, like, way after this one. So I reacted to it, and the video reaction is up. It's called it's called The Most Disgusting Case I've Ever, like, seen, or something like that. And the title is Evil Town, with me being, like, serious, In that one, again, like, that was from the 19-somethings. I think it was, like, 1970s, maybe 1990s. Where a girl, again, was, like, she was raped and killed. And the town's like, oh, she's a cheating whore. No, she wasn't even a cheating whore because she's like 14. It's like, she's a slut, she's a party girl, she just wants some dick, she got a bit too much or something, I don't know, like stuff like that.
Pretty much all of them, besides Candace's family and friends, were siding with Dr. Schneeberger. What they saw is, and what they were saying around town is, they see this single mother who is trying to provide for her child, and they're seeing this doctor who's really well respected. He's successful and he's charming. It actually seems like he had the entire town wrapped around his finger. Like, this is what I mean when I say the way this whole town acted is crazy, because the whole town they were wrapped around his finger and they just immediately supported him and thought Candace was just making everything up and she was crazy. So John Schneeberger was born in 1961 in Lusaka, Zambia. After achieving his medical degree in South Africa, he moved to Canada in 1987, which is where he began his career as a doctor in a small town called Oxbow. At this point, he was 26 years old, and in the fall of that year, he met a woman named Lisa who had begun working as a receptionist at the medical clinic where he was working as a physician. She was actually married at the time to a man named Rich, but because John was new in town, she just wanted to be polite, and so she started inviting him to dinners at her house with her and her husband.
And they're definitely gonna get together. Oh my god. Horrible person. Elite pool though. I don't know how he's managed that. Maybe there's some insane law, but how has he done that? What? Because they're going to get together, right?
They got increasingly closer and closer and closer. Meanwhile, Lisa and her husband were just drifting further apart until eventually Lisa left him for
That's
John.
devious. That's devious.
He must have been so charming, because everybody that would come...
Yeah, this face is a real charmer. This face right here is a real charmer.
Into the clinic.
Like, legitimately, he looks like a blonde Hitler. He actually looks like a blonde Hitler.
Just immediately loved him. He was, by all accounts, a really charming guy and a handsome guy, which, I mean, I don't know whose account this is that he's a handsome guy, because... But to each their own.
I agree, don't worry. It's all good, it's all good. I agree. That actually is actually funny as well. But go back though, because like this guy ain't handsome, bro. If this guy's handsome, I am literally, let's not say that actually, because I was about that could have been offensive to some people. I am literally the Adam Warlock. I'm the perfect human.
Handsome guy, which, I mean, I don't know whose account this is that he's a handsome guy, because... But to each their own. Maybe it was like a personality thing, you know, when someone's like a nice person, you think they're hot, but people are...
Yeah, but like... Maybe. That is a legitimate explanation. I should probably put a light on. Give me a second.
Around town started referring to him as Dr. John. Everybody just loved this guy. They said he was this really inviting, warm, friendly guy. In 1988, John and Lisa moved to Kipling, which is where he got his job at the Kipling Union Memorial Hospital. They moved there with Lisa's 2 children. So she had 2 children from before she met John. And John was a really loving stepfather. He got along with the kids super well and pretty much raised them as his own. And as they all started settling into Kipling, again, he got a reputation similar to the reputation he had in Oxbow. He was this, you know, one of 2 town doctors. He was really well liked. He was charming, inviting. Just everyone in town loved this guy. He was really somebody that you could trust. Lisa and John's relationship also seemed perfect. It seemed like they were just madly in love and they lived an enviable life, right? They were in this happy relationship. He was successful. They were a great couple. Lisa felt like she...
Bruh, genuinely, I want to be successful so bad, so... Like, whoever girl I end up with, like, can have a great life, you know. We can just have fun, and also my parents and shit, they can chill. I just want to not have to worry about a single thing, you know.
Had met her soulmate, and she couldn't wait to spend the rest of her life with John. They got married in 1991, and they went on to have 2 children of their own as well in 1995 and 1996.
And by the way, again, look at let's go back to the original of this show. This one, the moustache, like. It makes him look bad. You put a beard on him, he at least looks a bit better. Or if he's clean shaven, the moustache is really back. And by with the haircut, which again, Hitler haircut. Like, I'll even move my cam so you can see it fully. Like, actual Hitler haircut. It's not looking good, bro. It's not looking good. Let me just it's not looking good, bro. It's not looking good. Like, honestly, if I had to rate him, he's like a sub-prime. I don't know what that is. Is it sub-prime good? Looks nice. Leave in the comments below. W engagement farming. Let's go. W engagement farming. Becoming a good YouTuber.
You know, and they were a great couple. Lisa felt like she had met her soulmate and she couldn't wait to spend the rest of her life with John. They got married in 1991 and they went on to have 2 children of their own as well in 1995 and 1996. So yeah, he had a great reputation. He was well respected, he was a family guy, and that was really hard.
This guy is like Dr. Jekyll.
Because nobody believed her about what had happened, about what he
Wait,
had done to
Dr. Schneesberger? Dr. Jekyll? Ooh.
Obviously, she still had her friends and family that supported her, but people in the town were really cruel to her.
I'm pretty sure Dr. Jekyll actually kind of mugged though. This guy is legitimately not good looking. Like, I don't understand. Like, I don't know. I'm not a girl, and I'm just a bum. Let's just leave it at that. So maybe girls find him attractive. I mean, I'm saying that, but clearly a girl here doesn't find him attractive. So no, he just doesn't look good, bro. He's chopped. He's chopped. Okay, he's chopped.
Part of their explanation or their, I guess, reasoning to themselves is the fact that she didn't report it to anyone or any of the nurses, anyone on duty at the hospital the night that it allegedly happened.
I don't blame her. I don't blame them for being slightly suspicious of her not doing that. But at the same time, she kind of just assumes that, like, because even to her, I think it's ridiculous that they didn't catch him like raping her. So she's like, I can't trust anyone in this hospital. That's kind of logical.
Which she was sedated. She was probably still in shock when she, came.
She's also like recollecting whether it's real or not as well.
Out of the sedation, and like I said earlier, she didn't trust any of the nurses that were on duty that night. But the people in the town didn't see it that way, and they didn't, I guess, think of any of those kind of explanations as to why she might not have reported it. And also, people don't report things like this happening to them because they're scared. He's got a great reputation, because there's a plethora of reasons. I
wonder the first reason I'll ever have to call the police in my life will be, because I'm assuming it will happen eventually. If I become a big streamer, I probably will be telling them, okay, look, bro, like, I'm a streamer, some people might try dox me and like just to try swap me. So if that happens, like, can you please just like let me know, because I have a family in here. Don't want you guys to like do anything bad.
It's also a community fundraising event that had been organized by Dr. Schneeberger, where Candace allegedly punched her boyfriend.
Because as soon as I see my views start escalating, like if it gets like above like 100, like if it starts going like to 1,000, as soon as it gets to 1,000, we're calling the police instantly and telling them like, oh yeah, this might happen, and ask them like, oh yeah, what can you do about that? It's all good, like if you need to check it out, I understand that, but at least just don't start breaking down the doors and like holding guns to my family's heads.
This event, so
like I don't know, people got anxiety in my house maybe.
I don't know, I guess people just didn't trust her at the time, but they trusted him, so nobody believed her, and they were awful to her. And then 6 months later, the DNA test that John Schneeberger or Dr. Schneeberger had submitted,
it's positive.
They finally came back, and he was not a match to the semen and the DNA that was found in the rape kit.
What I think he probably used another person's DNA. I think that's what he did.
Candace was
that's gonna make Candace look so bad though. I should feel bad.
So shocked by these results, she actually couldn't believe it, because although she had been drugged, she so vividly remembered being drugged by him. He administered the drug, then she was attacked, and then she saw him leave the room after the attack. She told the police that there must be some mistake, that he must have switched the vials or something, but the police assured her that this wasn't possible because the sample had been gathered by a technician, and also the whole process was supervised. Candace, though, insisted that there was something. He must have done something, and she insisted that they keep investigating, that they get another DNA sample from him. So eventually, after, she relentlessly insisted that there was an error with their test, they did ask Dr. Schneeberger for another DNA sample. Again, this is a voluntary thing that I guess at this point he has to agree to it. And so he did agree, but he wasn't as forthcoming this time, because he says, I've already done this once. My DNA wasn't a match. And he believed that this should be enough to prove his innocence.
Well, as we can always tell, this is not mugshot. This is him in a prison outfit, you can tell.
But in August of 1993, he did agree to give another DNA sample. And this time, the DNA sample was taken at the police office.
Oh, so they actually had to take it. Now this one's gonna come back positive.
Officers,
and I can guarantee it's gonna be different to the one he gave originally.
Officers watched over the whole thing. They supervised. They watched the nurse insert the needle into his arm and draw the blood. The sample then was sent off to the police headquarters, and so there was no opportunity for Dr. Schneeberger to have tampered with the test, switch the vials, nothing like that. When the results from this test came back, it was the same as last time. His DNA did not match the DNA found in Candace's rape kit.
What? What? I don't even know. What could he have done? I don't know. Did he have an accomplice? But even that, I doubt it. They would have noticed that, especially the nurses. I actually don't know. Wow. I'm stumped.
And after this, of course, police had no choice but to rule him out as a potential suspect. There was also nobody else at the hospital. There was nobody else that could have committed this crime at the hospital. And so the investigation came to a dead end and the case was officially closed in 1994. Candace and her parents just could not believe it because Candace was so certain of what had happened to her. And she had the rape kit. It did happen. But she was so certain it was Dr. Schneeberger. And who else could it be? You know, there was nobody else at this hospital that anybody knows of. She just didn't know what was going on with this DNA test because it wasn't matching.
Is there some way that he can rig it still? But he did it in front of them. Like, I don't know. Is there some way he can get, like, I don't know, his blood, like, type? No, because they have his blood type, DNA. I don't understand.
There's a lot of scrutiny from, again, the town because how can she try to deny DNA evidence? You know, it was a supervised thing, his DNA being taken, and it didn't match. So how can you try and still say it was him? I mean, they're just thinking that she's like this jilted woman. She's going after this successful married doctor for whatever reason. They don't even know what. And it got so bad, the public and the...
Bro, her setup is so clean. How does it even work? So she has her bed here, okay. But she looks like lower than her bed. So I'm pretty sure she has to have her PC here. Maybe it's a laptop. It might be a laptop. Maybe. Yeah, I think it's probably a laptop. It's because she needs to be able to see her script as well. And she has to have a camera, which looks like it might even be slightly below. No, because she's looking into the camera. She's looking like at me. She's probably like eye level. So it might be eye level a bit below. No, because you see her looking down if it was below. So I think she has maybe her laptop on her lap. No, because I think she's standing up too well. I think she has like a PC, a monitor right in front of us here. Her webcam is above it. But her desk, maybe she has a movable one because it's below her bed. I think. That's so sick.
That they were being so cruel to her that despite...
And what's she sitting on? She's just sitting like a pillow, surely.
Her friends and family still living in Kipling, she moved away from the town. She moved to a city called Red Deer, which is in the neighboring province of Alberta. And even though she was nearly 1,000 kilometers away, she hadn't given up hope. And in 1996, she actually hired a private detective named Larry O'Brien.
Private detectives are so expensive, holy fuck.
Worked for the RCMP for 25 years at this point. And as he was approaching retirement, he decided to get into private investigative work. He agreed to meet up with Candace, and when he did and when he heard her story, unlike many people, he immediately believed her. He described her as incredibly strong and determined, and he described her as, quote, tough as nails if she had to be, and as sweet as an angel. When she first came to him, Larry described her as being at kind of a dead end with her case, and he said, quote, she told us that we were probably her last resort. If we couldn't accomplish things for her, she didn't know which way to turn. I can't honestly imagine how helpless she felt throughout this whole process. But after speaking with her, Larry said that he was convinced that she had been sexually assaulted and she had likely been sexually assaulted by Dr. Schneeberger. He also said, I thought he was actually switching blood in test tubes. There was a lot of talk about a refrigerator with test tubes and it was taking place in the hospital.
But he did it in front of the police. That's what I thought as well. But he did it in front of the police. Or if they asked for like a DNA thing, which he could just hand in, he could have just gotten anyone else to put their mouth on it. Like
that was the only logical conclusion at that time. But the only way we were going to get to the bottom of this was with DNA evidence. So Larry and Candace start working together looking for any information, any evidence to prove Candace's story. In their quest for information, Larry got his assistant to basically go to Dr. Schneeberger's work and convince him to enter a raffle. So his assistant basically convinced Dr. Schneeberger that he was collecting entries for a radio station raffle. Dr. Schneeberger willingly entered the raffle. He filled out a form, he put it in an envelope, and he sealed the envelope by licking it. So he sealed it with his saliva. Dr. Schneeberger didn't think a thing about it, right? He just thought it was an innocent thing. But then later on, he found out from his cleaner that Candace had actually hired a private investigator. And so he got pretty suspect on the whole thing. I guess you know, maybe he put two and two together, realized about this envelope, this raffle, and his wife later recalls that he started sealing envelopes with water. Very not suspicious at all, if you ask me. But allegedly, he told his wife that, you know, you can never be too careful when people are trying to accuse him of things. The Schneebergs were actually really pissed off once they found out that Candace had hired a private investigator. They felt like Candace was harassing
How does this
them
information even get back to them, though? Like, some women, probably one of her friends just can't keep their mouth shut, like, genuinely.
And they actually sent a letter to her parents saying that they weren't welcome at the hospital anymore. The only hospital in town, and he's saying you can't come in, you're not welcome. I
think that's illegal. I don't think they can do
sure
that.
They weren't lining up to go and visit Dr. Schneeberger as their
That is
doctor,
a good point as well.
But as a doctor,
that is a good
you have
point.
a duty of care. You can't just deny someone care and say you can't come to the hospital anymore. It's crazy. The saliva sample that the private investigator and his assistant did get from the envelope, though, the original envelope, they couldn't even use it because it had somehow been contaminated. But they were determined. So Larry goes and he actually ends up finding Dr. Schneeberger's car in the parking lot of the hospital. And it happens to be unlocked. So he just lets himself in. He has a little look around. He manages to retrieve some hairs from the headrest, which unfortunately also couldn't be used because they didn't have the root in them. And this is in the 90s, right? So they weren't able to retrieve DNA from hair that didn't have the root attached. I don't know if it's still the same now, but DNA was quite new back then, so they couldn't use it. When he finds out that the hair can't be used, he goes back to Dr. Schneeberger's car a second time, and once again, it's unlocked. So he lets himself in, goes for a little dig, and he finds some lip balm that is in the ashtray of his car. They were actually able to pull saliva and skin cells off this lip balm, which they sent off for comparison against the DNA from Candace's rape kit. The results come back 2 weeks later, and they are a perfect match.
Boom!
DNA from the lip balm
Get
and DNA from Candace's rape kit. Now, unfortunately, you know, while it's great for Candace that she finally has some sort of evidence that she is not crazy, that
how did Bro forget to lock his car,
this did happen,
what an idiot.
and that Dr. Schneeberger is her rapist, there is two problems with this sample. First of all, the way that they obtained the sample was illegal. They didn't have a warrant to go into the car, so it was illegally obtained. It can't be used in a court of law. Secondly, they couldn't actually prove that this was Dr. Schneeberger's lip balm. Of course, it was in his car, but anybody could have put it there. The test results
and then the other
did
DNA results
question,
as well.
However, you know, because Candace and Larry, they're convinced this is Dr. Schneeberger's lip balm. Candace knows it's very obvious, right? But it begs the question of how he managed to
one evil bastard
provide DNA on two separate occasions that didn't match the DNA from the rape kit. Especially because one of the tests was at the police station, overseen by police officers. They watched it come, put it in the vial, and sent it straight off. There was no room for
maybe his wife or
how did
something is
he
like
do
in
it?
on it. I
Larry
don't
and
know.
Candace did, of course, take the results from
He
the
probably has a
DNA
connection
test
who can
from
like
the
change it
chapstick
for
to
him.
the police, and the police confronted Dr. Schneeberger with this information and with these test results, and of course he just said that the chapstick wasn't his, which is exactly what they knew he would do. But they were really just trying to get a bit of leverage on him, trying to get him to cooperate. There was really little that law enforcement could do because the results weren't admissible in court. So the case remained closed. Candace, you know, she was really at a crossroads. She didn't know what to do at this point, and so she decided to file a civil lawsuit against Dr. Schneeberger. At the hearing, Dr. Schneeberger agrees to take a third and final DNA test in front of the police. He was determined to clear his name at this point. So again, this was another voluntary DNA test. He wasn't forced to do it.
How's he gonna not rig it this time though? I'm really interested to see how he rigged those though. Like, not for myself, obviously, because I'd never do anything illegal. I'm being serious though. It's really interesting the fact he managed to do it twice.
But he wanted to do it to clear.
It's like, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, goddamn, I got you. You know what I'm saying?
So on the 20th of November 1996, another DNA test is done. It's done once again in the presence of police, and this time it is filmed as well. Even the technician taking the blood was from the police department. So there was no way at all that this DNA test could be tampered with. But the technician taking the blood was told to keep an eye out for anything suspicious. So she goes to draw blood from Dr. Schneeberger's index finger, which is where she always drew blood from, but he politely declined her doing this because he said that he had some sort of condition that caused his tissue to spasm and die, and this would mean, or this would leave him with bruised fingertips, which wasn't appropriate as a doctor. He suggests instead that she draw the blood from his arm, which is where it had been drawn from in the last 2 DNA tests. This was definitely an unusual request because
I don't think it's that
they really
bad,
didn't
though.
need much blood for the sample. A simple prick of the finger would have given them enough for their DNA sample.
The thing is, the doctor is like probably has some insane doctor strats to do this.
Regardless, the technician agreed and she went to take the blood from his arm. She inserted the needle, but when she went to draw the blood, nothing came out. So she has to fiddle around with the needle a little bit, and eventually after doing so, she manages to get a little bit of blood out, but really not very much. When she was taking the sample as well, she noticed that his vein was bulging out of his arm, and this would indicate that he had quite a large blood flow there, but then she really wasn't able to get much blood out of the vein. So it's just a little bit odd, the situation. And then also the blood itself.
I'm a detective, not a doctor, so I don't really know what's going on here. So can't give any nice full metal commentaries, unfortunately.
Was odd. So the technician said that the blood was a bit too thick and it also appeared a little brown and seemed like it was kind of old. Regardless of any of this, the blood was sent off for testing, and turns out, like, when they sent it off, it was determined to be too degraded for DNA testing. Really upsetting situation for Candace because she felt like, you know, he's not going to agree to a 4th DNA test. And so she was really upset because it seemed like the police had messed something up in this DNA test and it had really blown her last chance to get to the bottom of this. And as a result, the civil lawsuit was pretty much toast. And the police weren't going to charge him with anything based on, you know, this chapstick DNA that was illegally obtained and went against 2 official DNA tests. And while the DNA from the lip balm definitely raised some questions, the police had full confidence in the 2 tests that they had administered. Now, nothing else really happened in the case of Candace and Dr. Schneeberger until the 25th of April, 1997. This was nearly 5 years after Candace first accused Dr. Schneeberger.
It's going to be another one, isn't it?
What happened on this date is equally as heartbreaking and tragic as it was groundbreaking for the case. Police received a call from Dr. Schneeberger's wife, Lisa, claiming that her 15-year-old daughter had been raped by her stepfather, Dr. John Schneeberger. Lisa's daughter, who
Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. Whoa, wow. Wow.
not going to name in this case, led her mother to her bedroom and she peeled back the covers of her bed, revealing a used condom wrapper. And she said, "Mum, he's done this before." Lisa, who had been extremely supportive of her husband throughout these accusations from Candace over the last 5 years, didn't doubt her daughter for a second. The sexual abuse had been going on for years at this point, allegedly since she was 13 years old. And although her memories were blurry, she was sure that her stepfather had been sexually assaulting her. Sometimes he would do it at his work under the guise of it being a doctor's appointment, and other times he would do it at their home. He would go into her room late at night and he would administer her a sedative through an injection. He would inject the sedative into her arm or into her, just like he did with Candace. On the 24th of April, so the night before Lisa reported the rape to police, apparently her daughter had had trouble sleeping, and so Dr. Schneeberger went into her room and injected her with a sedative. The next morning, when she woke up, her memory was blurry, but when she saw the used condom, she knew that it had happened again. In the wake of this discovery, Lisa realized that John's behavior over the last few years may not have been as innocent as it seemed. Whenever the kids were sick or having trouble sleeping, he would always administer them their medicine through an injection rather than a tablet. In hindsight, you know, this maybe was weird, but she didn't think a thing about it because he was a doctor and he would always tell her that injections are just better. They're faster acting, they're more effective, and of course she...
It's even legal for him to do that though. He's a doctor, but I don't think he can legally just like inject whatever he feels like into people.
She had no reason not to believe him. Allegedly, when Lisa...
Like, it's not like some paracetamol where you don't need to be prescribed it, you can just take it. Like... So it's like actually illegal, no?
Asked her daughter why she didn't tell her sooner. She said to her mum, "You didn't believe Candace, why would you believe me?" And this just broke Lisa's heart. You know, she never in a million years could have imagined this man that she thought was her soulmate, that she was so in love with, that she had 2 children with and raised her children from a previous marriage as his own, she never could have imagined that he was a monster. Lisa later told a news outlet, "I felt sick. I still blame myself. Maybe if I had believed Candace, none of this would have happened to my daughter." Eventually, when Candace found out about the accusation, she broke down in tears because she had been telling everybody for 5 years at this point, that this guy was a monster and nobody believed her. And she was so scared that he was going to do this again, because if he's done it once, I mean, who knows how many victims he really had that he had done this to, that maybe don't even remember. And she never wanted the pain that she experienced to be inflicted on anyone else. And to find out that he had done this to his own 15-year-old stepdaughter was devastating.
Yeah,
After the discovery,
bad.
Lisa packed up some stuff and she got the kids out of the house. And she also confronted Dr. Schneeberger when he was driving home from a work conference. He, of course, denied everything, and when he got home he was slurring his words as if he had taken some sort of drug or something. He slept on the couch that night, and when he woke up in the morning, Lisa didn't get any sleep. When he woke up in the morning, Lisa kicked him out. While he was gone, she went and searched through his home office, and she found this box that had drugs, vials, needles, and condoms inside. One of these drugs was Versed, which, if you remember, is the drug that was found in Candace's system following the night in the hospital.
It's like a utility belt for raping. Like, that's just the best idea I can come up with. Like, what do you mean he has all of his stuff in one little box? Like, bruh.
Where she was raped. After discovering this box, this is actually when Lisa called the RCMP to report her husband. They wasted no time in obtaining a warrant. They arrested him, and they also took the box that Lisa found in his office into evidence. After they took Dr. Schneeberger into custody as well, they were able to pretty much take as much DNA evidence from him as they wanted, because this was no longer a voluntary thing. So
easy.
They took saliva, they took 25 hairs from him, and they also took blood, but this time they took it from his index finger and not from his arm. They compared all of this DNA to the DNA found in Candace's rape kit, and sure enough, it was a perfect match. This actually brought up so many questions because they just couldn't figure out how he managed to fool the police.
Yeah, how did you do that though?
You know, the last one was administered at the police station in front of the police. They just couldn't figure out how he managed to fool them right in front of their very eyes, considering there was no room for these tests to have been tampered with. Thankfully, it wasn't actually necessary to prove how he had fooled those DNA tests in order to actually charge him, considering they now had this non-voluntary DNA test that proved that he was a match and that he had raped Candace. So Dr. John Schneeberger was charged with 1 count of aggravated sexual assault against his stepdaughter and 1 count of sexual assault against Candace. He was also facing 2 counts of administering a noxious substance to commit an indictable offense and 1 count of obstruction of justice, and his medical license was also being suspended. After pleading not guilty to all charges, his trial began in September of 1999, and there were 3 weeks of testimony. At the trial, John Schneeberger took the stand himself, and he denied all of the charges, claiming that he was completely...
He took the stand himself, bro. You ain't him. You ain't... I mean, I've been comparing to Hitler all this video, but like, you ain't Hitler, bro. You ain't Hitler, G.
Innocent. Keep in mind, there was literal DNA evidence.
Like, you actually ain't Hitler.
That definitively connected him to Candace's rape. And he was claiming that he was being set up, that Candace broke into his house and obtained his DNA from a used condom. And then used this semen to frame him. Now, the major thing that came up in this trial, obviously, is how he managed to fool those DNA tests that said that he wasn't a match to the rape kit initially. So during the trial, he actually admitted that he had gotten a Penrose drain, a 15-centimeter Penrose drain, and he had inserted that into his arm. And the Penrose drain was filled with another man's blood. And
that is insane.
Penrose drain is basically just a tube, and it's used as a surgical drain to prevent fluid backup during surgery. So this man had essentially put a fake vein into his arm with somebody else's blood inside it. So whenever they drew blood from him, they were taking somebody else's blood.
You know what? I'm not going to give you props because you're an evil guy. And this caused more and more pain for people because he did this. But yeah, I'm not going to say anything. But like, Yeah, let's just not say anything.
And that's why he was so against them taking blood from his finger and came up with this excuse of his tissue like bruises easily or whatever. The blood that he used was actually from one of his patients in 1992, and he had taken blood from this guy under the guise of treating him. He took more blood than
Who was plotting? What the fuck?
he needed so that he could store it and I guess use it for these DNA tests over the years. And this is the reason that the blood in the 1996 DNA test that he took that was filmed at the police station, the technician was also, a police technician. That is why that blood from that test was so degraded they couldn't actually test it, and why it looked old and it was thick and it was like kind of brown, because he'd been storing it in a fridge for the last 4 years and he really didn't have much of this guy's blood left. And that's why they weren't able to even get much blood when they drew blood from him. At one point during the test that was filmed, you can actually see for like a split second the fake vein.
Yeah, I saw that.
Protruding from his.
Let me do mine same to just go put it in 0.5x speed and get it for you guys. If you guys are not as fast eyes as me and a reaction time built of Fortnite, I think like playing the amount of Fortnite I've played, has generally increased my reaction time. No joke. Look at this.
For like a split second.
Look at that right here. You see that? Damn. It's actually really obvious when you look at it. Like, no one's vein is like that, bro. No one's vein is like that. I'm surprised the police or the doctor didn't catch onto that.
The fake vein protruding from his arm. And it is so crazy that nobody noticed that he had this fake vein in his arm.
Oh, well, she did it for us.
Especially these, DNA technicians who are obviously looking at his arm in a close enough way because they're drawing blood from it and they're putting a needle into it. The last technician, she did notice that it looked like it was protruding, but she just thought it was because there was a lot of blood flow in it. It obviously looked quite realistic. Or maybe...
Look at my arm, bro. I'm going to try to get a good angle. Me flex as well, so I look like hella nice with the beanies, And there's no fucking vein. Hello? None.
The idea of somebody using a fake vein was just so far-fetched that it didn't cross anybody's mind that he might be doing that, because that is insane. Like, even when police started to think that he was suspicious after getting the chapstick results, and then, the last test was administered after they already had these chapstick results. So police were already kind of a bit suspicious on him, but they still never thought that he would be using a fake vein in his arm. Anyway, despite admitting that he had used a fake vein to trick the DNA test, he claimed that the only reason that he did this was because the only way I could distance myself from the complaint was to provide a false blood sample. Candace also gave evidence at the trial.
I was a bulldog on the stand. I kicked his lawyer's ass. And he's supposed to be the best lawyer in southern Saskatchewan, best defense lawyer.
Oh, he did have a lawyer.
I showed him who was boss.
And the court also heard from Lisa.
Okay, but like, props for you, girl. But like, come on, this lawyer's trying to defend like a guy who's obviously guilty. Like that, from every angle, he's guilty. Unless he's J-Oma, I could beat his ass. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's cooked.
Her stepdaughter, who Dr. Schneeberger was also accused of sexually assaulting. By the end of the trial, Judge Ellen Gunn found John Schneeberger guilty of sexually assaulting Candace.
When that seems kind of bad. I'm doing that because he got caught, and like guilty. What's his sentence going to be? Let's say he didn't kill anyone though, so I don't know how much his sentence is going to be. But he's like a mass rapist, bro. He's drugging people to do it as well. Has to be at least like 20 years.
Obstructing justice. He was also found guilty of sexually assaulting his stepdaughter, but he was acquitted of her aggravated sexual assault and her drugging. The claim that he had been set up by Candace was dismissed and described as inventive, fanciful, and imaginative. Despite the severity of his crimes and the likelihood that he has committed more similar crimes, he was only sentenced to 6 years in prison, which is insane. This was partly because of the fact that his stepdaughter couldn't actually remember the assaults because she was drugged, and so he couldn't actually be charged with her aggravated assault, only with giving her a sedative. But even so, 6 years for injecting her with a sedative and for raping Candace, obstructing justice, and injecting her with a sedative, all 4 of these charges, and he only gets 6 years, is so crazy to me. After the sentencing, Candace, who was now 30, said, "This is a glorious day that I've waited for 7 years. I hope he rots, because that's what he deserves for all the hurt he caused."
He's probably not safe
She was
in prison.
obviously relieved that he faced any time at
He's
all.
gonna become
She
the
had
new
been
stress
fighting for justice
reliever.
for so long that anything would have been a win. But by the time he had been sentenced, she had been fighting for longer than his sentence period. But following his sentence, his medical license was revoked. And also, while he
better have been.
was serving his sentence, people in Kipling still believed he was innocent. This is what I meant at the start of the video when I said the way this town reacted to this case is just so, it's like unbelievable.
Evil Town Part 2!
Even after his own wife had turned against him and it came out that he had sexually assaulted his own stepdaughter, people still defended this guy. He was a convicted rapist, and people in this
He's
town—
so hot! He couldn't have done it! He's too hot! He's so pretty! Oh my god, I could fix him! I don't think he did a single thing! This guy is so handsome! Just free him! Free him! He's so beautiful! Ah, I wish I had a boyfriend like him! No man could compete! He is so sexy! So muscular! I love him so much!
was still like, no, Dr. John would never. Not Dr. John. I don't even have any words. I don't know if this whole town had a case of folie à deux or folia 1200 or
Joker
what,
folie à deux.
but some people even
Whoa,
speculated
that
Lisa
actually made me
put
kind of lightheaded doing that. I don't know why. That made me so lightheaded. What the fuck?
her own daughter up to accusing him, which, I don't know, like common sense, you know, even if they think that she did that, why would she do that, you know? For 5 years, she defended him through the Candace allegations. So why would she randomly turn around and do that and include her daughter in it, her 15-year-old daughter? Lisa responded to these accusations in an interview with a newspaper, and she said, "What would I have to gain from setting my daughter up to it? I had a husband I adored and a beautiful family. Why would I trade that in for the nightmare I'm living now? The only doubt I have in my mind is what part of our marriage was real." John and Lisa did eventually get divorced, but not before they had to go through this huge legal battle about custody over their children. So they had 2 children together. For some reason, despite the fact that he was a convicted sex offender, he was given or granted visitation rights to have his 5 and 6-year-old daughters come and visit him in prison. Lisa, for obvious reasons, didn't want to subject her daughters to this. And it's also weird that this even happened because there was no question of even granting these visitation rights to him. There was no, oh, should we or shouldn't we? It was just immediately he was given visitation rights. Normally, if you're a felon, there is a consideration there. But there wasn't even a consideration. It was an immediate yes, he gets to have visitation with them. Lisa went to court over this, and she was ordered to bring the girls to visit him in prison. She refused, and so she was fined $2,000. Lisa appealed that decision, and the judge—
in this economy as well. Actually, no, because this is 1990s. Okay, well, still bad, still not good.
basically said, too bad, so sad, you know, he's got a right to see his kids. So Lisa did end up taking the girls to visit him in prison because she really had no choice at that point. And when she got to the prison, there was over 100 protesters there who showed up to support her. As she approached the visitation room with her girls, both of her daughters started hysterically crying and grabbing onto her legs. And the social worker who saw all of this happen just knew that this wasn't in anybody's best interest. And so they made the decision to cancel the visitation. And
goods.
So they didn't have to go and see their
goods.
dad. After this, John also
don't know why I even got that close.
Agreed to waive his visitation rights with his daughters. And he also agreed to waive his parental rights. In June of 2001, John became eligible for parole. However, he would be denied twice before eventually being released in 2003 after serving the mandatory 2/3 of his 6-year sentence. After his release, he also moved to Regina, which is where Candace was now living. Which, I don't know about you, but that seems calculated. Because he had lost his job, he also had to find work in another field, and he ended up getting a job with a demolition company and also as a carpenter. After his release, though, there was this big campaign to have him deported, and it was actually successful. And so, John Schneeberger was
he go to Israel?
Deported to South Africa in 2004.
That is actually kind of bad, I'm not gonna lie. I mean,
he went to
whatever. It's
live
fine.
with his mother. He'd
At least it's not Israel.
only been granted citizenship in Canada in 1993, the year after the alleged rape of Candace, but as it turns out, he'd lied on his citizen application because he had conveniently left out the fact that he was the subject of a police investigation. So this was the reason they were able to strip him of his Canadian citizenship, and he was deported back to South Africa, where he was given the name, appropriately given the name, Dr. Rape.
Yeah, this is very appropriate, very accurate.
Less than 3 weeks after his deportation, he actually applied with the South Africa Board of Doctors, which is crazy work from Dr. Rape. He eventually withdrew his application right before they were due to process it. I don't know if this was because he knew that it wasn't getting approved or whatever, but thank God. This guy should never be let near another person, let alone have a medical license. He reportedly went on to work in the catering industry, but honestly, since his deportation, not much has come out about him. And I really don't think he should be working in the catering industry.
I don't think he should be working in general, but if he wants to work, just let him work on a fucking demolition site. That's the only thing he can do.
He has a history of drug.
Just do some manual labor.
I don't know. That doesn't seem like a good fit. Candace went on to file civil suits against John Schneeberger and also the Union Memorial Hospital. And I read that she was awarded $75,000 from Schneeberger, but I couldn't find if she actually received any of that money or not. She has since gone on to work as a continuing care assistant for an addiction services facility in Saskatchewan, and she also co-wrote a script for a film called I Accuse, which has now been released. But that's it. That's all I have for you guys today. That's all for this case.
Well, yeah, released too soon, but apart from that, this is a pretty good win. He should have at least got 20 years, but in some of these cases it's worse, you know. At least he's not in the country anymore. He's not anywhere near Candace or his daughters, so hey.
I'd love to know your thoughts on this one because it is so unique. I've never heard anything like inserting a fake vein into
that
your
is
arm.
weird.
I cannot imagine, first of all, the helplessness from Candace for all of those years that he was using this fake vein and nobody believed her. She had to leave her friends and her family and move out of her hometown because of this guy. I mean, probably for the best that she had to leave that town because they sound like a bunch of nutters there. I mean, that's
they're cooked.
Crazy that even after he was convicted and went to prison, they still didn't believe her. Some of them still didn't believe her, which is just delusional. But yeah, that's all from me today. I'll be in the comments chatting to you guys.
W Bella Fury as per usual. She says she's in the comments. She'll be in the comments chatting to you guys. She's never in the comments, by the way. I'm not gonna lie. She's never in the comments. It's low-key W engagement strat. I'm not gonna lie. Respect it. Anyway, like and subscribe, boys. I will be in the comments. You know what I'm saying? I will never lie to you guys.